Hello, my name is Innovate. I have a master's in business administration and I love Pokemon cards. So let's go ahead and talk about market price. Now, today's video really stems from me scrolling through Reddit, through Pokemon TCG Reddit or other Reddits, and a lot of people are complaining about market price. Now, I think it's weird because I think every single product ever has a production cost, something that whatever it costs the manufacturer to cost. It has a MSRP, which is the manufacturer's recommended pricing, and then it also has the market price. That just varies. Sometimes the market price is lower than the MSRP, and that's normal. That's okay, and we're totally okay with that. Now, let's say this is you, and you are a person, a very smart individual who will only buy products at MSRP. Now, sometimes this will cause you issues. I'm one of these individuals where I'm only a fan of buying things at MSRP, but sometimes this will cost me because sometimes I will buy things a little bit more expensive than a market price. If I were to just go on a website like Facebook, Craigslist, eBay, anything, right? I could find the product for cheaper. But because it's in front of me and the retailer selling this to me for the MSRP, I'm willing to pay that price. Be aware, sometimes this backfires, and that's okay as well. But we have to acknowledge that MSRP is not always favorable to the consumer. Sometimes it does not favor the consumer, and we have to acknowledge that as well. Now, you are a very smart individual, and you know that the price or the MSRP, the manufacturer's recommended pricing for this ETB, in this case, let's go ahead and think about Journey together, is going to go ahead and be $60. Cool. Now, what you have to understand is that you yourself are part of the problem. I am part of the problem. Even a 12-year-old that loves Pokemon is part of the problem. Their mom who wants to buy a product for their kid is part of the problem. All of us are part of the market demand that is causing this situation where scalpers are easily winning in this one. That is what's causing it. We all are creating demand, whether it be looking it up on Google, adds it to the search, and now you are part of the demand because this person searched this up on Amazon or any other place. So now you're a number, you're a statistic. Even if you choose not to purchase it because it's not a price that's favorable to you, that adds to the market or the demand for that product. So congratulations for you spending time on Reddit, on a Pokemon website, or anything that your browser can follow or track you, that you love Pokemon. You're part of the problem. Now, everybody here represents a piece of the market. Let's go ahead and say each person is 10%, however you want to interpret it. Now, the thing about this is that we all have a distribution of wealth completely different to each other. Some people have a lot less money than others, and it sucks. I would love for everybody to be able to enjoy Pokemon. I love playing Pokemon TCG live, and I love that it's really cheap to play it. So if you do not have the money to buy collectible cards right now, I highly recommend you to go play the game on TCG Live or Pocket. It is a very, very cheap way to still experience Pokemon without having to go out of your way and spending a lot of money. So I do believe, I'm right there with Danny Phantom, I do believe Pokemon should be enjoyed by as many people as possible. It was really enjoyable when I was a child, but I'm digressing. Let's go back to this. Now, everybody has a different amount of money, and it sucks, but it's the reality. Now, because of that, each one of us will create a different price or a different valuation in our heads. The MSRP will stick on a lot of us. So a lot of us are going to say, I'm going to say MP just to say market price. So a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, I'm just going to pay market price. This is on the release or the announcement of a product. Everybody is going to say MP, MP, MP. I'm only going to play MSRP. I'm only going to play MSRP, right? And that's normal, right? Something just came out, something just got announced by the manufacturer, by the company, and we're all like, okay, well, we're all going to buy MSRP because that's what we were told that the price of this item is. Now, when we're in a bull market like we are right now, a lot of people want to buy Pokemon, me included. The thing about it is that each one person is part of the market and is part of the demand. Let's say there's not 10. Again, let's say each person represents 10%. let's say in the sense of actual quantity of this. I know this is just a very complex version of explaining supply and demand, but I think this might be a little bit more creative in how to explain it. I am a math teacher by trade, so I also love teaching things. So the quantity of Pokemon cards that are available for all of us to buy, the 100%. Let's say it's only, I'm going to make up a number. Naturally, I do not have the actual statistic for this, but we're going to take an estimate so you can have an idea of how this works. Let's say it is 20%. It's not 10%. It's not incredibly tiny, but 20% in quantity. So only 20% of everybody on this graphic will get Pokemon cards. It's just the reality of it. It's just the truth. Now, because only 20% of it, the people can buy it, a scalper buys as many as they can. Now, let's say whoever, it doesn't matter who. Let's say this is our lovely little scalper. Sorry, little scalper. And let's say they have vampire teeth or something. I don't know. They're sucking out the Pokemon market. However you want to think about it. I don't care. You can think about scalpers in any way that you want, but at the end of the day, they're making money. I don't know. Hate on them, dislike them, not a fan of them. They're going to go at GameStop. They're going to have bots, whatever you want to think about it, evil villains, whatever, etc. Now, this is people that are just buying straight from retail, not necessarily people that have a distributor. This is talking about people that are buying straight from the Pokemon Center, etc. Now, this person has magically gotten themselves 20% of the product. They've gotten 20% of it. They say, nice, I'm getting 20%. And they took all 20. There's now 0% cards left. Now, this is where all of this market demand pops in and why MSRP goes out the window. MSRP is $60. This is how much we're all willing to spend because the product has just been announced. Very cool, very hype. But because of that, because this guy took all of them, this guy doesn't care to have them. He's not going to open them. He's not going to do a rip and ship. He just wants to flip them. Very quick flip. Very cool. Awesome. Whatever. Now, what's going to happen is that naturally there are some people, including you, who's really smart with their money and knows when to stop buying, right? You're not going to buy. It's okay. You're not going to buy. You're chilling. Well, I couldn't find it at MSRP, and that's fine. The thing is, some people love Pokemon. Love Pokemon. I will live and die on Pokemon. It has to be buried with me in my grave. You know, however you want to interpret it. These people love Pokemon beyond anything. Now, because of that, their valuation of that product is going to go up. They cannot find it at MSRP, but then the pricing or the valuation is going to be very different for everybody depending on how much money they have as well. So, for example, right here, for the very first person, again, the MSRP was $60, right? The MSRP is $60. 10% of the people are going to say, nice, I will buy it at $70. I'm okay with buying it for $70. It's just $10 more. I'm okay with that. Sure. Another 10%. Now, this graphic is not going to be perfect. Obviously, the demand is going to be a lot more varied, but I'm just giving an example. These 4 people are just going to stick with MSRP. You're too smart for it. You're not going to get off of MSRP, and that's okay. And then someone's going to say $80, and someone's going to say $90. I'm willing to pay $90 for it. And then some lunatic over here says, I'm willing to pay $500 for it. I don't know, some crazy number. Congratulations. Now, this guy, this buddy vampire guy, however you want to think about him, who bought it all from retail, thanks guy, and you can't find it on retail anymore. This buddy guy will be like, oh, okay, I'll sell it to you for $500. And then the guy's like, cool, I got one, and I don't want to pay any more $500 for it, and I'm no longer going to pay $500 for it. This is exactly how the market's usually, you'll see the little graphics go up, and then they'll go down, kind of thing. And then now, he's fine, he's chilling, he no longer wants to buy things for $500. He's like, well, okay, I'll only buy it for $150. You can imagine that this is very similar to the prismatic ETB situation, where some guy might probably bought it for an absorbently excessive amount of money, and then what he valued it, or what they valued it, could be a girl, what they valued it, right, goes incredibly down. But these people are at 90, 80, 70. what you have to acknowledge is that this is still 10% of the people. 10% of the people are still willing to pay 150 bucks for it. And this is where also things change. Because these people, these 30% of people who are willing to pay over MSRP, all these people are still, you have to remember, you still have 50% of the people who are still totally fine living off of their lives, not buying MSRP. But these people over here are making your life harder. They're making your life harder because they're totally down to pay over MSRP, and like they just don't care. You know, they don't scroll through Reddit, they don't get angsty, they don't look at the markets, they just looked at what MSRP was, they couldn't find it, and then they just created a mental price valuation for that. Okay, now with that in mind, 70, 80, 90, we're gonna go ahead and say, because these people have not been able to find it when it came out, they wanted it, but they haven't been able to find it, the valuation that they're willing to give up for it, or they're willing to buy it for, is gonna go up. The $150 guy, that's 10%. They did already buy one for 500, but they're now like, okay, well, I'm still willing to keep buying them for 150 bucks because that's how much I believe they're worth it for me, and I have enough money to buy them. I'm okay with that. Now, instead of being like, oh, I'm willing to pay $100 for it, well, now I'm willing to pay $120. Now I'm willing to pay $100. Now I'm willing to pay $90. So notice that even though these people weren't able to even get it, they weren't even able to get it originally, they haven't even been able to buy it, but because the market has stagnated at 150 because this person keeps buying, the market valuation for that person has gone up. The valuation of what that is has gone up. Okay? Now, not only that, but because these people have not broken the line, these people also fall out of line. They no longer think that it is valued at MSRP. Another 10% of the people will say, you know what? I'm down to pay 60% or $60 for it, not 60%. $60 for it. This is what the Pokemon market is experiencing. A lot of people hate it. Like, they're like, scalpers suck, bro. I'm like, you have to understand, all of these people are buying it from that 10% that was able to get to that product. And they got 20%. Now, of course, the quantity is going to continuously be added. There is only 10%, 20%. Now there's going to be like another 10% gets added. Sometimes this 10% will get evenly distributed with everybody, and everybody gets 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it goes back to the scalper. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you're able to find it, and you're able to find, sometimes it's going to be distributed really poorly, where it's a 0.01%, 0.01%, 5% for this group, and so on, right? But you have to understand that these people that are willing to pay market price are still creating demand. They're still pushing it for these people over here to say, I'm going to pay, willing to pay this price because I don't want to see it at market price as well. There's Pokemon investors, there's Pokemon buyers, there's a lot of things going on that is causing your lovely Pokemon cards to go up in price. You cannot control it. Rather, you are part of the problem. I'm part of the problem. I'm making a Pokemon video. I'm sorry, you're watching this. You're part of the problem because now we've created another statistic that will create another demand for these products, right? Anytime I say the word journey together, the elite trainer box, right, that gets added to another statistic. It's hard. It's complicated. It sucks because there's not enough quantity to meet everybody. There just isn't. This should be 100%, but the thing about the quantity is that it doesn't necessarily work in percentages. Some people might want 100% of that quantity, and that makes it even harder for you because they want to hoard all of it, they want to get all of it, and that makes it difficult. Now, does that mean that it's the fault of everybody and anybody? No. What a lot of people have to understand is that someone that buys a buttload of Pokemon isn't buying, let's say this person, let's go back to our little graphic. Let's say this person who only buys at market price sees this 10% get added to the market. This person who will only buy, or this group of people, these three who will only buy at MSRP have now purchase. This is why the Pokemon market is so screwed right now. These people buy all 10% of the quantity, all of it. They buy all of it. There's no more. We're back to zero. Now, this 30% that now holds 10% of the quantity, they will sometimes simply choose to sell it to these people. These people still want it. These people got it at MSRP. They bought some and they're okay to sell it. And they're going to sell it to this person, to this person, to this person, and to this person. And then again, there will also be people who are very generous and they'll see, hey, this guy, this little guy, that's you, or a kid, or whoever they feel bad for. They're going to be like, I'll sell it to you for the same price I paid for it. I'm okay with that, bro. Yeah, here you go, bro. It's complicated. It really is. It's not so easy. These people that are willing to pay for MSRP are also making this more complicated because people that are willing to pay over MSRP now are willing to purchase that from the people who found that product. It wasn't from a scalper. This scalper is over here. The scalper already got a quantity. He didn't take any more. People that bought it at MSRP did. People that wanted to collect it, people that were like totally down, but then these people over here are going to go up to these people, these collectors, and be like, don't rip it. Don't open it. Can I have some? Please? That is why the problem is as big as it is. It's not simple. It's not cohesive. It's not like a 1-minute explanation of like people are greedy, scalpers are a piece of shit. Like, it doesn't work like that. We're all part of the problem. The moment you look up Pokemon trading cards, you have automatically added your number statistic to be part of the problem. The moment you opened up the Pokemon Center website, you're part of the problem. You've added to the crashing of it. Like, it's so easy to point out how you as a statistics created a problem, even if it was a minuscule 0.00001%, you still participated in that. Participating in taking a photo of your lovely card and showing it off to people, congratulations, you've added market. You've added market demand for that card. It really just works like that. If you say that this card is really badass and this is your favorite card of all time, congratulations, you've added market demand for that card. That's how it works. So, I don't think you should be upset with your peers for buying at MSRP. Don't be mad at them for finding the best thing ever. Don't be mad at them. Like, these guys aren't the only problem. Look at how many people are participating. It's not only one person participating in this. It is 100% of every single individual that is here in the Pokemon market that is participating. We're all part of the problem. We all are creating a demand for this collectible cards. And because of that, Pokemon is profiting. The secondary market is profiting. And if you were able to sell your collection, that's really cool. If you have it and you just got in right now, it kind of sucks. So everybody's problem is different. It's more complicated than we'd like for it to be, but it just is. So hopefully that was explanatory. Hopefully you enjoyed this conversation, and hopefully next time, don't just hate people just to hate. Don't just hate people just because you can type something out. Not everybody's a piece of shit. I think that's what's annoying me. Not everybody's a piece of shit. MSRP buyers that are okay with reselling it to these people, they're not pieces of shit. They just found it, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. It's a whole conversation. I don't know. If you enjoyed this conversation, like, subscribe. Bye.